This WNBA offseason killed a lot of dumbass narratives, right? It really did. And I hope they're gone for...
Sheryl Swoopes once claimed that no one wanted to play alongside Caitlin Clark and that the Indiana Fever's locker room was unwelcoming. However, that narrative has been thoroughly disproven. Three-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard not only signed with the Fever, she deliberately chose them over other offers. After averaging 18 points and 7 rebounds last season, the elite forward is now teaming up with Clark, proving that top-tier talent is eager to be part of Indiana's promising future.
I'm not going to ignore, the racial aspect got thrown into the media. Players addressed what fans were saying. So it was given life to a certain extent. But I think we've seen it stamped out this offseason.
Remember when Sheryl Swoopes made that bold claim about the Indiana Fever? Her words sent shockwaves through the WNBA, not just hinting at issues, but flat out declaring that no one wanted to play for the team. She didn't stop there. She alleged deep locker room problems were holding the Fever back. This wasn't just an offhand comment. It was a strong assertion that painted Indiana as a destination elite players would steer clear of.
I don't know
but
if there is a guard.
You got to compare to what they do, Alyssa. I'm just saying guard.
Well,
Alyssa,
one, really a guard.
Alyssa's a 4.
So here's what I would tell you.
Okay,
you're
so guard.
saying,
I'm saying between
listen,
the
you're
points,
saying right now.
Right now, what?
I would also say this: Kelsey Mitchell is
right there.
And did you notice how fast this narrative took off? It spread across social media like wildfire, fueled by sports talk shows eager to fan the flames. Suddenly, the so-called toxic Fever locker room was all anyone could talk about. What made it even worse? This claim became the perfect weapon for critics looking to diminish Caitlin Clark's impact. Those already uneasy with her skyrocketing popularity now had their go-to argument. Sure, she fills arenas, but does anyone actually want to play with her?
also know players on that team that are like, oh, hell no, we don't want to just be here.
Yeah.
Because then when you...
I was about to say that.
Because then when you factor in free agency, you got players on this Indiana Fever team.
They getting paid in what?
That are like, no, but players who will be free agents next year.
All season long in 2024, every time the Fever hit a rough patch, commentators wasted no time pointing back to Swoopes' remarks. This is exactly what Sheryl was talking about. The narrative took on a life of its own, creating a strange contradiction. Clark was shattering rookie records and packing arenas nationwide, yet the idea of her being a divisive presence within the team stubbornly refused to...
But my thing is this. So what happens when Aaliyah ain't playing well again?
It's back to
like you know what I mean? And so as a player...
back to it. But
as a player, do you want to continue to stay in a situation where you keep yourself vulnerable to all of the hate that you know is going to come to you if you're not playing the way everybody thinks?
The damage was real. Imagine being a free agent, weighing your options, and repeatedly hearing that the Fever was a dysfunctional team elite players wanted nothing to do with. This narrative wasn't just unfair, it had the power to derail the team's future. Even as Clark's on-court brilliance was impossible to ignore, the lingering shadow of toxicity continued to cloud both her reputation and the Fever's, making perception just as much of a battle as performance.
And I'm just using Aaliyah as an example because Aaliyah is not a free agent. But if you're a player like an Aaliyah Boston, you know the worth you bring to any other franchise. Now, and you know how that works. Not every player who's a free agent should leave because the grass probably ain't gonna be greener for you.
Facts.
But a player like a Kelsey Mitchell could be very valuable to any
anywhere.
team.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
Facts.
Aaliyah Boston could be very valuable to any team when she becomes a free agent.
What's wild is how many fans and analysts took Swoopes' claims at face value, no questions asked. Social media exploded with people echoing her words, convinced that veteran players would rather go anywhere else than join what they called the Caitlin Clark circus. The narrative became so ingrained that it started to feel less like speculation and more like an unshakable truth.
And one of those narratives was people wouldn't want to go to the Fever because of the Fever fan base. And the Fever fan base being painted with this broad brushstroke was always just stupid, really. There's no other word for it, because Caitlin Clark brought more fans to the league than it's ever seen. So many of them are Fever fans, and the new fans that come in outnumber the old fans that were already there. You don't want to tell those people they're unwelcome.
Then something happened that blew that toxic narrative to pieces. While everyone was busy believing that no established players wanted any part of the Fever, Natasha Howard, a three-time WNBA champion and former Defensive Player of the Year, made her move. And she didn't just take an offer. She chose Indiana over multiple other opportunities. Talk about silencing the doubters in the best way possible.
It's a blessing to be back, to be honest. Like, when I was on that stage press conference, I kind of got emotional a little bit. Like, wow, I'm back here again where I started. And just how Stephanie White was speaking so highly of me. Like, I'm like, this is where I need to be at, and this is where I belong. And I'm just so happy to be able to come back and handle some unfinished.
So, who's the player that just dismantled Swoopes' entire argument? That would be Natasha Howard, not just any veteran, but basketball royalty. With 3 championship rings and a Defensive Player of the Year trophy, she's the kind of player franchises chase. Fresh off a dominant season, averaging 18 points and 7 rebounds per game, Howard wasn't some journeyman desperate for a contract. She had choices, plenty of them, and yet she chose Indiana.
I just feel like I was supposed to be here. And God worked in mysterious ways, and He put me back where I started. And like I said, we still have unfinished business.
The most telling part? Howard's emotional press conference spoke louder than any debate. When the Fever surprised her with her original jersey from 2014, she was visibly moved. This wasn't just a career move. It was personal. I'm just really honored and blessed to see a team that appreciates me, Howard said. In that moment, her words shattered the tired narrative about Indiana being a place players avoid, proving that the Fever had something special, something even seasoned veterans wanted to be part of.
A nightmare back, going back and, just watching that game again. It's like, we should have won that, but that's in the past. And like, now we have a young group that's hungry and ready to win a championship. We added new pieces. So I'm really excited about that, and I just can't wait to get things going and, helping this young group learn and tell them this is what it takes to win the championship. And at the end of the season, that's what we're going to be holding up.
What makes this even more powerful is that Fever GM Kelly Kaufman didn't just stumble upon Howard. She made her the team's top target from day one. Indiana pursued her aggressively as a key piece in their roster revamp. And guess what? Howard said yes. I took the bait for it, and I'm happy to be back where I started. She said during her introduction. The message couldn't be clearer. The Fever weren't just rebuilding. They were drawing elite talent, proving they're a destination, not a detour.
And just as a player, I feel like a lot of teams didn't really appreciate me how they should, and I feel like coming back here, this organization really appreciate me as a person, as a player, and they also happy that I'm back as well, and bringing that experience and winning championships to this organization. So I'm just really honored and blessed to see a team that appreciate me and that want demo.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Howard didn't just choose Indiana. She made it clear she was excited to play with Caitlin Clark. Does that sound like someone avoiding the so-called Clark circus? Not even close. I can't wait to run the floor and get those passes, Howard said, practically glowing at the thought of benefiting from Clark's elite court vision. It wasn't just a signing, it was a statement. Howard wasn't dodging Clark's rising star. She was ready to thrive alongside it.
It's just really good to see this organization doing a lot of things for our sport, because I feel like they know they would deserve the same amount that any other team has. And I'm really happy to be a part of this and also see the growth of this organization and what are they doing for them.
A decorated champion with multiple offers, chose to play alongside the very rookie Swoopes claimed no one wanted to team up with. Howard didn't just sign with the Fever. She embraced the opportunity with real enthusiasm, proving once and for all that the narrative was nothing more than...
It's going to be Caitlin Clark flash show. So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision. on the court, because that's like as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
Howard didn't just choose Clark and the Fever. She's bringing exactly what this team needed. Indiana struggled defensively last season, but now they've added a defensive powerhouse with a 7-foot wingspan, a player who has averaged a steal and a block per game for 7 straight seasons. That's not just an upgrade, that's a game changer.
With a minimum of 25 games played, Natasha Howard was one of just 13 players to average 18 points per game. She was one of 16 players to average 7 rebounds per game. And the list of players to average both 18 and 7 last year, short and elite. Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Brittany Griner, and yes, Natasha Howard.
Let's talk about why this pairing is basketball perfection. Think back to all those jaw-dropping passes Clark made last season that led to nothing. How many times did she thread the needle with a perfect dime, only for it to be fumbled or missed? With Howard on the receiving end, that's about to change. Big time. Her length, athleticism, and finishing ability make her the perfect target for Clark's elite playmaking, turning missed opportunities into automatic buckets.
Who is more than capable of banging with the bigs down low, but she can step out to the three-point line too. Howard has knocked down more than 150 threes in her career, and that ability to spread the floor should provide All-Star guards Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell ample space to create. Natasha Howard represents a massive step forward for the Indiana Fever and their quest for a championship. In Howard, the Fever gain a 3-time WNBA champion, a Defensive Player of the Year, an All-Star, and a veteran with